for most of your lifetime in America. For example, Michelle Obama's SAT score is higher than Barack Obama's SAT score. And one that may surprise you is George Bush's SAT score is higher than Bill Clinton's. Many people, they're confidential, many people don't disclose their SAT scores. You know they can do very well. Because, interesting, the people that have done well in the SAT, also that corresponds almost exactly to the rankings of the universities on a world list, whether that ranking's done by the UK, by Melbourne or by America. If you look at the top 10 universities in the world, they also have the highest average SAT score. On its own, tests have shown the SAT is not such a good guide as to how you go at university, but when it's combined with the GPA, it's a very good guide. It matches almost exactly how you're going to go at university. And we have a thing called a school transcript, which I'll show you in a minute. The USA has the most diverse and complicated system of application. You should consider early application only if you're very, very well organised. Some universities have their own application forms, some have international supplements, some have earlier and later closing dates, some require an interview. My advice is check each USA university's entry criteria and application process thoroughly. Australia is 6 months behind the rest of the world because its summer holiday is Christmas time. So you start Australian universities in February. That is attractive to many Prem students because they can have a 6 months mini gap year before they start to study in Australia. And after the rigours of the IB diploma, some of them are very, very tired and need that rest. That also, for an international, has individual applications to universities and good standards. Canada, once again, you directly enter the university there. UBC, which is very popular with Prem students, February the 28th, but I think the first application for Canada is about the 1st of February. Mostly you don't require the SAT. Australia, you don't require the SAT either. Application requires personal statements, grades and references. So what credentials does a student need? They need a transcript with a GPA. We provide you with that. The school gives you that. And the main thing to realise is that starts in grade 9. So I go into grade 9 classes with a transcript, I hold them up and I say, do you realise the grades you're going to get first semester will be looked at by a university application officer? No. So you better start working. Grades matter. And of course, that lasts about 5 minutes. So I have to go back in again and tell them again and again. And it's in the pastoral care program to tell them again. You need a standardised test score. We have the SAT, but also the IB diploma. There's also subjects they do at CMS, for example, called Advanced Placement AP subjects. You need some standardised test score. Because your transcript could be from Mickey Mouse High School. Like, it could be from some easy school where everybody gets A's, where you don't. So what gives the transcript its strength is its connection with a standardised test score. If you're getting a transcript GPA of, say, 5.5 and you get a high SAT score or high IB diploma score, it verifies the standard of the school in the eyes of the application officer. That's all the verification they need. This is a good school. We also send them Prem at a Glance, which is a profile of our school, to show them where our kids have got in. Higher grades determine the quality of the university and course you can successfully apply for. SAT scores for average entry are published, and they also match the ranking of the university. If someone comes to me and wants to know what SAT score they need to get into, say, UT Austin, I can tell them the average score of freshmen for the previous year. So UT Austin, it's about 1750. So if you get 1750, that should be enough to get in. So that's the kind of information I can give a student. Higher grades will help students applying for merit-based scholarships. Scholarships are either needs-based or merit-based, and for internationals and particularly students at Prem, they're mostly merit-based, because most of you are earning too much money to be needs-based. But sometimes that's not the case. You might be here on a scholarship or something like that. That's what our school transcript looks like. I'm sorry that it's not a little bit finer, but you can see it starts in grade 9, finishes in grade 12, has a GPA for every semester, and a cumulative GPA which goes all the way through. This student, 5.53, and got into Carnegie Mellon. On the right-hand side, we have the USA equivalents over here. 7 is actually, in the USA system, off the scale. A 6 is closer to what a 4 would be in the USA system. Then we have the CAS activities of the student, any activities in sport and stuff like that. All done printed on one nice document, signed by the principal. You can see this is when Craig Rogers was still here. We put the school seal on it. We either upload this online or we send it off hard copy. It's the school's verification the student went to the school and got these grades. On the back of it, we have some information of the school. So, hints for a successful application. Include school profile. Personal essays, skillfully written. I can't speak too much about that. Your personal essay is absolutely paramount. And you'll need help doing a personal essay if you're a student applying for a US university. There's lots of places you can go to for help, including online help, previous alumni, career counsellor, ACE, places like that can help you with your personal essay. I've got a couple of students here who can perhaps talk on that later. The documents must be easy to read and attractively presented. I really think that this is important. Any document that's longer than about a page is lucky to get looked at the second page. And the reason is they deal with enormous amounts of applications. I mean, I think, what was NYUAD? 30,000 applications, was it?
That was directly, that was combined between NYU and NYUAD.
Yeah.
But
altogether.
My year was about 5,000-ish directly to NYU.
So they can be dealing with thousands of applications, 20, 30,000. They don't have time to read a personal statement that goes over the distance. They don't have time to read a school profile that's 3 or 4 pages long. That's why we call it Prem at a glance. It's one page, it's all there. They can glance over it and they can see we are definitely not Mickey Mouse High School. References from alumni, if possible, help. Not always, but sometimes if you can find an alumni who knows you well and writes a good reference, some colleges in the United States particularly like that. Everything very professional, presented all in one parcel online. The standard that I set in the office is that an application doesn't leave until it is perfect. Perfect. Everything has to be 100% perfect. There shouldn't be a cause for anyone on the other end when they get it to say, oh, this doesn't look right, or there's spelling error or there's a punctuation error or something like that. Everything must be checked and rechecked. And Kun Chon and I have this deal that I check all her work and she checks all my work, and then we often send the personal statements to an English teacher to read just in case we've missed something or done something the wrong way. So that's one of the secrets of success. Make your application as perfect as possible. That's what Prem at a glance looks like, and that's what the colleges and universities get from us as a descriptor of who we are. We have our IB average grades, we have our SAT average grades, we have where the graduation classes of the previous 2 years have got to. We've got the nationalities of the school. Got a lot of really good information there to show you that we're the real thing. Because you've got to imagine someone at University of, say, Puget Sound in America will never have heard of Prem. Will not even know the name. Will not even barely know where northern Thailand is on a map, let alone Chiang Mai. So that's not going to win you any prizes from that person. This will, when they look at these scores. And you hand out these scores and they'll look at us and they'll think, yeah, you're okay. So that's a really important document. This is an example of a teacher reference, which is a particularly good one. The name's blanked out. I won't give you time to read it. But we have, I can assure you, we've got some very good reference writers on our staff. And they matter. And this is a particularly bad personal essay. I gave you a good reference, now this is a bad personal essay. It's all about what Mr. Hartmann told me about Boston College. And this student did not get into Boston College, this personal statement. I didn't let them send this personal statement, by the way. It's just the wrong thing to do, okay? And that's where kids need guidance. Like this student thought she was doing the right thing, saying she got all this information from the career counsellor and got excited and really wants to go there. No. You've got to come from yourself, from within. You've got to be sincere, not what someone else is telling you to do. You say, no, that's going to last. So this is a personal essay which I scrapped. I think you've probably read it enough to realise it's just rubbish. Okay, uncertainties, things we can't change and things we don't even know about. Universities do have quotas. They have a need for nationality balance. They could fill every international school in the whole of America with Chinese and nobody else. There's enough Chinese students with the money and with the grades. Now that would be wrong, and that wouldn't give the university the nice balance. So they balance the nationality out. We don't know what the quota is. We don't know how many kids they want from Thailand. Sometimes that can work in your favour, sometimes it can work against you. I had a girl at CMAS, a very good student, who was white, middle class American. She got 800 out of 800 for her SAT critical reading, and she got rejected from Pomona. And when I wrote in kind of surprise and disgust really as to how could she possibly get rejected with a full score, the answer was she's right, white and middle class. We've got too many white middle class girls. You know, we need boys, or we need ethnic people to give us a balance. So that quota worked against her. But somewhere else it might work in your favour. The sex ratio, you don't want a university 80% male, 20% female. Like they want a balance of the sex ratio for a social life, so the social life can be good. There's always a need for a percentage of underprivileged, and some university boards insist that 5% of kids must come from underprivileged backgrounds. And there are special missions, like I've already mentioned before. Trent University in Canada will give enormous support to Burmese students as their mission. That's the mission they've set themselves. Other ways to help yourself, agencies. good and bad. Experts in the USA, publications, good university guide booklets, collegedirt.com if you want to know which university has the best parties and where has the best student parking and whatever. You go to those sorts of places. Mostly our kids don't worry about those sorts of things until they actually get to university. No. Admissions officers, counsellors, the key question, what slant will most aid your success? There is no substitute for good grades. That will most aid your success. Good grades. Then the other stuff will help. USA has the most scholarships, sporting, arts, academic. Its universities actually are the best funded as well. There is some scholarships for needs-based, based on your income. Many of these scholarships are automatic. You don't have to make a special application. Some universities you do. Some scholarships are based on PSAT, the preliminary SAT done when you're in grade 11. You need to know about that. Yeah, some examples from PTS, and I'll finish off with this. Sonia in 2006 scored 44 for the IB, went to Barnard College, a College of Columbia University, New York, which is Ivy League. Emmy in 2007 got into the London School of Economics, IB score of 38, second best business school in Europe, and to get into London School of Economics you need a 7 in higher level maths. That is not easy. His parents are here today. 2008, IB certificate. Classical guitarist. His DVD got him into Australian National University, ranked 16th in the world. He was one of 2 internationals allowed into this course, which was taught by a world-famous classical guitarist. So you see, it's not just we're talking business or science, also music. Kids from PTS have done extremely well. Ishan, 2009, IB score 40. Got into University College London, which was at that time ranked 7th in the world. Got in to do anthropology. Gunn, 2010, Carnegie Mellon University. Ranked top 10 in the world for engineering, and he got into engineering. 2011, Far, New York University, Abu Dhabi, one of the most selective universities in the world, accepting less than 5% of applicants. And the recent figure I got was it's now accepting 1% of applicants. And Far is here with us today. My conclusion is students from PTAS who have outstanding academics, great references, history of service and leadership can gain entry to the world's finest universities. Thank you for your attention.
Wow. Well, thank you very, very much. Do you have some questions? Do you have some comments for Jon before we go to the next? No? Yes?
Yes. What if you have a non-academic child who is? What happens with those? Because this is all about grade. What if your child struggles?
Yeah, good question.
Grade?
Yeah, as I said, there's lots of non-academic destinations which are very, very good. Community college in the United States, vocational education in the UK, TAFE in Australia, where you can do applied diplomas. Say, for example, a non-academic kid wants to be a chef or something like that. They can do a diploma in cooking, become a chef, work their way through the system, do internships. We've got all that information in the office. I can help a non-academic kid. In fact, I really enjoy helping non-academic kids. activities in light of me having that older stepson who's working in a factory and stuff. Okay.
Other question? Ms. Kate, you have some question?
There are so many questions.
Oh, good.
I need the time.
It's time to translate.
To translate. Okay. But when you finish, then we might come back. Okay. So thank you so much.
First question back.
Sorry.
Jon, are American citizens who are residing overseas, are they treated any differently on a college application to the U.S. than as if we were living in the U.S.?
Yeah, they can be. Have you got residency in the US? If you've got residency in the US, the residency laws are different in every state. California's tightened up on residency. It used to be easy to get a residence.
Right, I understand the financial differences,
Yeah.
and trust me, we have where the family is around the states all mapped out. But I mean, as far as how they view, do they view them as an ordinary American citizen, or do they view them more as an international student coming in?
Yeah, we've had, my experience is both ways, sometimes depending on the university. We've had a boy this year who's an American citizen who should have really got into university, is a Texas resident, and he hasn't. And that's surprising. So, and other times we've had the opposite. So I can't give you a clear answer on that. It's inconsistent. It's inconsistent, yes.
I just want to go back to the residency thing, because I don't think I understand that. Do they need to be a resident? For example, in California, my daughter's got her eye out on a couple of universities in California.
Well, California state universities are obliged to take residents.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And so
you're going to get into a California state university if you're a resident.
Okay, so I would have to make
That's
her
an
a
advantage,
resident at my
yeah.
parents' house or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm just wondering how that and students have gone so you can have there been any Prem students that have gone to universities in Germany, and can you speak a little bit about what sort of requirements they have?
Yeah, we've had Prem students go to Germany. Germany is difficult to get into. They require specific grades depending on what course you're doing. But the student I had wanted to do engineering, and they required a 6 in science and 6 in higher level maths for Germany. Germany does make specific requirements. So very early in the piece you've got to determine what course you're going to go into. Otherwise, the German requirements are just the IB requirements to get an IB diploma. We've had one girl go into childcare, I think, in Germany, and all she needed was the IB diploma with the score of 24. One thing I did neglect to tell you, which I wanted to mention, was that the IB is out of 45. Now, you can work it out. There's 6 subjects in the IB. Maximum of 7 points for each subject. So, hands up, what's 6 sevens? Yes, 42. There's 3 points for TOK and extended essay, making a total of 45. To get an IB diploma, you need 24 and 12 in your higher level subjects and passes in TOK, etc. You can have an IB diploma with a score of 24 and not necessarily get into a top university. Okay? It's your score that matters. That's what they're going to look at. Not whether you actually got the diploma, because 24 may not be enough for many universities. Most English universities, it's not. And they will tell you, when you look through the handbooks, say for example, University of Leeds, engineering, you will probably need 36. University of Leeds, say liberal arts, you'll need 32. University of Middlesex, liberal arts, you'll need 24. So it's not the same. And you really need to know that figure. And the first time the students get that figure is with their predicted grade. That's why the predicted grade is such an important grade for them. Because that enables them to realistically then choose the right course in university. If your predicted grade is 32, you're not going to get into a course which specifies 40. It's just not going to happen. So you target then the right course at the right university.
I think there are some other questions. Ms. Kate? No? No, Nadia?
I have one question, as for your presentation, right? Mostly the US university require the SAT score, right? But it's the brain is the IB. So these are the students most prepare SAT personally, right? Then to apply the test is 6 times per year, right? That's correct. So how many?
Sorry, we don't hear you very well.
Can I hear?
Yes, please.
As for your the presentation material, it's that most of the U.S. universities require the SAT score, right? That's correct. It's a Canadian is the same.
Canada, no.
No, it's at the U.S. So but it's at the Prem is at the IB, right? So it's the most of the students prepare the SAT personally, right? Not it's based on the school. Then they apply the SAT test in Chiang Mai.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
the
that's
6
what
times
it
per year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To select is the best score to apply the university, right?
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
So anyway, my question is that the student, right? And is that they prepare SAT personally, right?
Yes.
No, it's not the school.
Not at school, no.
Yeah.
No, they do it on usually Saturday morning, 3 hours at a time, coaching.
Yeah, just the coaching, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
is it maybe
there are some Asians in Chiang Mai
Yeah.
who are specialized in that.
So is that
And they're in connection with the school.
is how many the percent of the students apply the US in the Prem?
At Prem, this year it's 30%.
30%.
Last year
right?
it was 20%, so quite a
And
number.
normally 20 and 30%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any the plan to maybe the school?
Well, we've done that in the past. We've had it here, but it just didn't work. Not enough students came to it to get someone out here. We can try that again. And that's
We've just asked them
Steve.
again and they said,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. But we provide a van for boarders to go down there and whatever. We've looked after the kids doing it.
That's all.
Yeah. And also I always tell the teachers when the SAT is on to ease off on the academics for that week and let the kids concentrate on the SAT.
Okay, I understand.
But don't argue from that the IB diploma is not a useful qualification for a kid going to America. American colleges like the IB diploma. They've got experience with it now, and the kids who do the IB diploma do well at American universities. They don't drop out. They can handle the pressure. Maybe Far could tell you about the difference there between having done the IB diploma and the American kids who haven't.
Okay.
If I maybe I'm wrong, for the SAT, the reason why ACE prefers to do the courses in Chiang Mai is because they say that the children are more concentrated when they go over there than when they're here. When they're here, it's like difficult to catch them, because they are not always where they should be. But when they go there, they are like in that place, in Nimen Nimen, and then they like to go for lunch in Nimen Nimen. It's like the bonus, And they say that they have better results when the children go there. So it's not, something that they don't want to do or anything. It's more on the result. The second thing I want to say is I just come back from England, and I've been discussing a lot with many schools, and for the German nationals, you have to know that now German schools, high schools, deciding a quota of German students, because there is a massive numbers of Germans going to England right now to pass the IB in England, because this is